Exactly, Greg. This red flag warning is in effect until 8 p.m. tonight, and that means conditions are right for wildfires to spread rapidly. And that's easy to understand when you walk along any of the trails in Portland and you look down and all you see is this. Dried twigs on the ground that can act as tinder when we have conditions like we have right now, when the relative humidity is so low, around 20%, and you have this cool, dry breeze from the northwest, around 10 to 20 miles per hour, that will help spread fires quite rapidly. The Maine Forest Agency is reporting that the entire state has a high fire danger right now. This denotes that all fine dead fuels, like the ones you just saw, can catch fire rapidly, and from most causes. Unattended brush and campfires are likely to escape. And because of this, all outdoor burning in Portland is suspended. Be cautious when using gas and charcoal grills for cooking. Portland Fire Captain David Petroselli gave some insight on how deceptively dangerous backyard fires can be.
Yeah, so when you've had a fire on the ground, roots in the ground, ashes, they smolder for days. People have suffered burn injuries with fire pits in the ground where 2 days later somebody walked through it with bare feet and had burn injuries, because once that heat gets into the earth and gets into those coals, it can stay for quite a while.
He says that heat can actually get into the roots and travel to other parts of your yard, and that's how wildfires can spread even after you think you put out the fire. So what he recommends is using copious amounts of water to put out any flames and ember. Reporting live in Portland, I'm meteorologist Adam Epstein for CBS 13 News.
I get advice given the conditions out there, Adam. Thanks.
The National Weather Service has told us to prepare for a coastal storm, which will bring some minor coastal flooding, some beach erosion, and we're anticipating localized flooding in the usual spots in Camp Ellis.
John DeRoss and his team at the Saco Fire Department are using today to get ready for tomorrow.
We're actually preparing for the next 3 tide cycles, so 36 to 40 hours.
A map with purple arrows hangs in the York County Emergency Management Agency to keep track of where they may be needed.
These are areas that we're concerned with any storm surge flooding, Camp Ellis, Kennebunk Port, anywhere up and down the coast.
Losing a house to the ocean isn't unheard of in Saco. The fire chief says the last time it happened was in the 90s.
Camp Ellis, as usual, that's the big story. There's not a lot of sand to back the ocean out, so we could lose homes if this storm is really serious out in that area.
While homes aren't expected to drift away in places like Wells or Kennebunk, residents in the area are accustomed to storm surge impacts.
You can expect the water to come up over the seawalls and throw some sand and some rocks and other debris onto the road.
This is one of the many rocks you could find on the beaches of Kennebunk. And across the street, over the seawall, you could find the same exact rocks that got deposited there from previous storm surge waters.
We get concerned about it because we love the Maine beaches up here, the Maine coastline, and we don't like hearing of the erosion and hoping not too much damage.
I have a lot of respect for the ocean. You know, you can't outrun it, that's for sure.
If you do decide to get a first-hand look, just remember,
It'll eat your car. So try to stay out of the salt water if you're driving.
In Kennebunk, I'm meteorologist Adam Epstein, CBS 13 News.
This is the Great Ice Storm of 1998.
In New London, New Hampshire, the storm began on Monday, January 5th.
It crept up in. You know, it started out as just a drizzle and you build up a little glaze of ice. The difference was that it never let up.
But it didn't stop until Friday, January 9th. 5 days of freezing rain.
We've been listening to that sound of branches cracking for 2 days now.
His town encased in ice.
Crash. Crash. That's all I've heard for the last 2 days.
Looking back at his home video, James Perkins and his wife distinctly remember the sounds of the storm.
First day, the limbs started coming down. And the second day, you just hear crashing off in the woods.
On the third day, Perkins took his wife and 14-month-old son south to stay with family. Others didn't have that luxury.
In '98, they weren't as prepared as they are today.
Then Lieutenant, now Chief of New London's Fire Department, Jason Lyon, had to stay.
We had 5 building fires in 6 days.
Firefighters battling fire and ice.
We'd have to cut our way into the house and then cut our way out.
Using chainsaws, Lyon and his crew worked tirelessly to gain access to people in need.
We were working basically 24 hours a day.
A lot can change in 20 years, but some things stay the same. Tracy Memorial Library is still standing, but some of the trees that were once planted in the front are not. The infamous ice storm changed the landscape of New London. A large tree by the church succumbed to the weight of the ice. Colby Sawyer College was lined with trees along the street. It still is, but a few are missing today. On Saturday, January 10th, the sun returned and the cleanup commenced.
Then once the sun comes out, you know, there's a certain beauty to it that you just don't get anywhere else.
How big was the party when the lights got back on?
Well, it was incremental, so probably the biggest party was taking a shower. So, yeah.
In New London, New Hampshire, I'm meteorologist Adam Epstein, CBS 13 News.